place where I'm missing thing.
If you're looking for a real church, come to God's perfect will. How much God's perfect will? Come to God's perfect will. Oh, 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 come on over, come on over, come on over, come on over, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. God's perfect will, come to God's perfect will, where the come to God's perfect will, if you're looking for a will.
For I know the thoughts that I think towards you, saith the Lord, thoughts of peace, not of evil, to give you a expected end. Then shall ye call upon me, and ye shall go and pray unto me, and I will hearken unto you. This passage of scripture, Jeremiah was telling, the prophet was telling the Jerusalem in exile. They just messed up and, messed around and start worshiping idols, and Nebuchadnezzar had them. And if you read verse 10, he said, y'all were going to be occupied, y'all going to be in slavery or be in exile for 10 years. And after 10 years, I'm going to let y'all come back home. And the plan I have for y'all guys is not to hurt you, not to mess you up, of peace, not for evil, to give you the expected end, the end I first intended for you to have, to prosper you, to bless you. This wasn't my intent for y'all to be in exile. This wasn't my intent to do it. My plan was for y'all to prosper and have dominion over that whole region. But now, y'all guys in slavery. Y'all don't even live in your own land. The Babylonians control y'all guys. And that wasn't my plan. Because of disobedience, now y'all in exile. But my plan was to prosper you. And the same way now, God's plans is to prosper the church. But the church is disobedient. We don't do what God tells us to do when God tells us to do it. Because some of us are exiled with our finances, with our money, with a lot of things we do. We're in exile. We don't have it. But we got to stick to his plan. And I found out his plan always supersedes my plan. Because I had a plan. And I told you before, last week, I told God my plan and he laughed at me. Because we don't know, we are predestined, meaning predestination, a pre-plan for what God roles we're going to play. Romans 8 and 29 says we are predestined. He already knew us before we were born. Before we came out of our mother's womb, God already had a plan for our life. Amen. Now, when we came out, we're going to say we're going to do this, we're going to do that, we're going to do this, and we're going to do this. And God said, no, that wasn't in my plan. And so every time when we get it, just like a GPS system, when the little computer lady, Siri, say, okay, after when you get clear, please reroute. God has to reroute us. God has to send us back to the point where we need to be. And that's in life. And sometimes rerouting takes 5, 6, 7, 10 years. Some people got hooked up with the wrong person, had about 3 kids with them, got to be rerouted. Some person moved to the wrong state, bought a house, can't stand to be in there, ain't no opportunity there. Got to be rerouted, come back home. Some people stay home too long, need to get out. Somebody had a plan to be with Jimmy, and now you with Frank. Reroute it. It was my plan to be with Jimmy. But God said, no, I wanted you to be with Frank. Jimmy raising hell. Thing all blew all up. Now you're finally with Frank. But you're supposed to have been with Frank at 20, but you're with Frank at 40. But you still end up with Frank. Because people, God finished line, let me say this. You got the day, that day, you ain't finished until the day you die. Amen. You could get it right the day before you die and you still did God plan. God ain't, you got the finish line is death. And you ain't going to die until God finished with you. The best thing to do is stick to God's plan for your life. Now, the problem I did, the mistake I made is I told God what I want to do first and he came second. Now that I'm starting all over again, because God, and I'm being more transparent, God told me to start a church. Start a church when I was 30. Now, I ain't started a church until I was 38. But I told God, I ain't starting no church. I'm going to get married first, God. I want to get married first. God said, no, I want you to start the church. I said, Lord, I ain't got confidence. I need help. I don't know. I'm a little crazy. I got dyslexia. I can't do well. I need people. I need a woman. I don't want that. I made a lot of excuses up. So I didn't start the church. God said, there you go. Got married. Started his church. Guess what? Not married. But he got his church. I'm still end up where he told me he wanted me to do first. But he said, seek ye the kingdom of heaven. Then that would be added. So this time, I'm seeking God's church, building, all that. People say, well, no. I did that deal before. God come first. Amen. And the second go around, now I'm finally doing it the way he wanted to be done. Amen. Because guess what we do? We do things not according to God's plan, and I did not stick to the plan. Abraham didn't stick to the plan. You know, Isaac didn't stick to the plan. That's why one of them had a baby, then go to Hagar, get another. They set some. Who wife would tell you to go sleep with the maid, or the mistress, or the slave woman? And then they have a baby, then finally they have the promised child. Why? Somebody changed the plan. Amen. Moses changed the plan by when he killed the Egyptian. Changed 40 years, he ran. Changed his, everybody didn't stick to the plan that God had. And so what you read in the Bible are people who did not stick to God's plan. Amen. Now, with Joseph, it was God's plan for him to be, maybe not in prison, but the mistake he made, he told his brothers his vision. And so it wasn't God. I don't believe God purposely threw or had him accused falsely for rape and stayed in prison for 12 years. But God said, well, since that happened, let me work it out for his expected end. See, even though we make bad choices, God will use, amazing thing about God, because he is God, God can filter in and factor in all the bad you do to work it out to somehow. It's like, you ever play these little puzzles that you gotta, the puzzles where you can go different ways to get to the end? So if you take the line and go that way, then you gotta go, or you could go this way, but you wind up at this end. There's many ways to get in this building. There's many ways to get to this building. But you come to the same point. No matter which, because see, you know what we do in church? The problem is we fight over the best way to get here. Oh, my way is better. No, your way might have been better for you. Don't always take everybody's route in life. Because what seems short to you may be long to them. Have you ever listened to people's advice to tell you, go this way, and it was longer than what you usually take? That made me mad. And sometimes, have you ever tried to do a new route and you was in a hurry, but you knew better not to go that route? but you did it anyway, and you got lost, and you wind up being later than what you thought. Sometimes it's best to stick to the plan that the way you know. Amen. Now, honestly, when I go to Elder Cookhouse, people go the other way. I always get lost. So I go the way I know. My way may be a little longer, but I always know how to get there. Amen. And one day I tried somebody else's way and was always at the airport. Like, how I get here? Because we take routes that we don't know what God has for us. We got to live it out. God always never tell us God never tell us, he give us previews of the movie, but he don't want to tell us the plot. So if we stick to God's plan, you will never go wrong. Find out, this is what I did. I said, God, I don't know. I tried it and I blew it. I don't think I'm good at taking care of Terry Allen. I don't even think I'm good at making the right decisions for Terry Allen. Guess what, y'all? I don't trust me. I don't trust me. Because I know what I like, what I do, everything I do, I know it might not be best for me. So I said, God, give me the mind of Christ and you show me what I need to do and stick to your plan for my life. Because if I stick to the plan that God has, it will always work. So if I pray for what he wants me to have, it got to come to pass. Just start praying for what God wants for you. Tell me, God, put in my head, make it seem like it's me. Yeah, you kids, sometimes you can Jedi mind trick folk into thinking the same thing you want, they want. If you live, your kids, you basically dictate to them how they're going to shape their life, how you live. I find out my daughter said, I used to say, I'm a geeky guy. My daughter said, I'm a geek too, Dad. She played with computers, I play computers. She did this and this, she did it. She made a movie, her and her friends made a movie. I'm like, y'all made a movie? She said, yeah, I made a movie. I'm like, it would look good. At 8. But she seen me doing it. And what happened is, I didn't force it on her, but she saw it and shaped it. Half of these people are famous, they didn't do it because they were shaped. I was listening to an interview about George Lucas. It's amazing how he explained how people think Star Wars a big success. I come to find out the movie industry didn't even want it. They were laughing at him when he's saying a dog flying a spaceship. They did, and then I find out he made the movie in a house. The first Star Wars was made in a little house. He had to go to get the bank loans to get the money for the movie. They wouldn't even want to produce it or mass production. Once the movie hit big, because he made it out of another movie, he made off, it was successful. He had to fight through that to get get it done. So finally, he made the movie, big success. He said, I didn't make a dime off of Star Wars. I said, what? He said, I made money off the toys. He said he made most of his money off the little action figures. That's where the money came from. But he owned his own movie. He owned Star Wars, and then he went the next movie. They gave him the money, but it's a process. He stuck to his plan, and he said one thing too. He said, I didn't buy like other people. I didn't take that money and reinvest it and bought a big house. He said, the money I made, I put it back into the next movie. Now, we believe nobody really know that he sold Star Wars for $1 billion or more. He can make all the movies he wants and finance it himself. But that's the end. See, you got to listen to people how you do it. You reinvest into yourself. Stick to the plan. And you ain't got, let me say this, everything ain't got to be spooky plan. If God give you a plan how to make it, stick to the plan. Don't be scared of the word budget. We as a race of people, as an urban people, scared of that word called budget. We buy things we can't afford for people who we don't like so we can impress them. Why am I trying to impress a person I don't like? Why am I about
Hi,
something?
I'm Pastor Terry Allen, and if you're looking for a real church, come on out to God's Perfect Will Ministries, where you'll be welcomed with an intimate environment, a spirit-filled atmosphere. The Word of God is preached in love. Also visit us on our website for exciting upcoming events and announcements, and you can join us as a covenant partner. Always remember, God's Perfect Will Ministry, a place where a misfit can fit. Now back to the message.
Can't afford. And nowadays, wealth is relevant. It's not back in 20 years ago when someone had a Mercedes Benz, it meant something. I believe 20 years ago. I remember when I was coming up in the 80s, when a guy had a Jetta, had a Maxima, had a Cressida, had those kind of cars. They got women. They was something. Nowadays, everybody got a Jetta. I mean, Chrysler 300 look like a Bentley. Everybody is now on the same level. Before, when somebody make a movie, when people was on TV, it meant something. Now everybody on TV. Everybody on Facebook. Everybody got a camera on their phone. Anybody can make a movie. Back then, he said you had to make a movie cost you a lot of money because you had to get the film. The film was so expensive. Now we went digitalized. Anybody can make a movie. So you ain't special because I'm on the internet. Everybody on the internet. Several people. I see you on the internet. You on the internet. Dick and John on the internet. I don't know if y'all got Facebook. Y'all on the internet. I don't know. I ain't see you. You ain't got one. She on the internet. So we got 5 people and I'm on the internet. We got some people on the internet now. Why? Now it's normal. So ain't nothing, everybody is a level playing field. So what's great about life? See, one thing about it, no one's special anymore. But see, God always have a special thing in him because we are a peculiar people. Now it's more special to go to church because nobody goes. It's special to be a Christian because nobody is a Christian. Matter of fact, it's special not to lie. Honestly, I've been to a party and a person thought it was flabbergasted that I didn't drink. You don't drink? No, I don't drink. They looked at me like, what kind of weirdo you? I mean, honestly, she looked at me, what kind of weirdo are you? You don't drink?